Welcome back, everyone. I am Psycho Emerald. Today I'm back with another Star Wars The Black Series 6-inch action figure unboxing and review. Today I have the new Gaming Greats Jet Trooper from Star Wars Battlefront II. So, yeah, I've been excited for this figure for a little while. I didn't pre-order it, but when I heard it was dropping in stores and people were getting their pre-orders in, I decided I should go check my local GameStop, see if they had this guy, as well as the Night Brother. And they had both. They had tons of Night Brothers. They only had two of these guys, and I didn't see them at first, but they were kind of hidden behind, I think it was like a Sheared Imwe figure was in front of them, so I didn't notice them at first. But luckily, they had two of them, and I was able to compare them and pick the one I thought looked the best, which was this one. So yeah, I'm really excited for this. I'm a big fan of Clone Wars Season 7 and of Star Wars Battlefront 2. I've been playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 for a long time, and when these guys showed up in Clone Wars Season 7, I thought, hey, those are the guys from Battlefront. I remember that was a cool moment when I first saw Clone Wars Season 7. So yeah, when they announced a figure of this, when I first saw this figure, I thought it looked great. Thought they did a good job capturing the look of these troopers. So I was eager to try to find one at GameStop. Now I've got one, and I'm pretty excited to open it up and add another trooper to the collection. It's always nice to have another clone trooper. So yeah, before we open it, let's check out the box. So over here, we've got the clone trooper on the side. So we got the jet trooper kind of holding his pistol down there, and we've got jet trooper down there, and it's got this cool blue color to it. And we got the banner over here that says Star Wars Battlefront 2, since that's the game this character is from. Then we've got this Gaming Greats kind of seal sticker here. It's got this shiny silver to it, which is pretty cool. It says the Black Series Gaming Greats. And then Jet Trooper, it says down there in that same teal color. Then we've got Hasbro warnings down there. And then right here we have the price from GameStop, which is $27.99. Whether we like it or not, is a little more expensive than a regularly released figure. And over here we have that same artwork that was on the side. Over here we have Star Wars The Black Series Jet Trooper, and it says Star Wars Battlefront 2 lets players call in reinforcements from the most skilled soldiers and units in the galaxy, including the aerial specialist Jet Troopers. So yeah, and then has that in multiple different languages. Says Jet Trooper again, Black Series logo, and then down here we also have the Battlefront logo. Number 6 in the Gaming Greats line, Disney and Hasbro, and then we've got all this legal stuff, warnings, all that. So yeah, and we've also got a window at the top of the box. So yeah, let's get the trusty unboxing knife and open it up. So we're gonna cut the pieces of tape up here, see if I can speed run this unboxing segment here. I know a lot of reviewers don't even put the unboxing segment in, they just cut to the figure being opened already, and I prefer to show the unboxing. That's how I've always done it. That's why I started this channel, was to be an unboxing channel. I didn't even think of the fact that you could skip the unboxing part, so don't really intend on leaving the unboxing part out anytime. Maybe I should have been a little more careful opening that, but oh well. Let's get this off, and I like how this, you know, I've said before in my reviews, it got the plastic cover there, and it actually has the sticker attached to it, which of course it does. Why wouldn't it? But yeah, let's get the jetpack out. Looking pretty cool. And then we'll get the tape off of the pistol here. Right there. And then the figure himself. Alright, so there he is. And yeah, so let's get the packaging out of the way, and we'll take a look at the figure. Alright, so there's the trooper all out of the package, and I've had some opportunity now to play around with it, and there's some really cool things that I really like, and some things that are a little weird. So we'll get into all of that, but first let's check out the figure itself. I really love this design from Battlefront 2 and also in Clone Wars Season 7. This is the 501st Jet Trooper. You can see the blue markings here. They've got a lot of blue markings that are pretty different from what we see on normal 501st Troopers. So pretty much like the entire shin and foot sections are all blue with this kind of white stripe going on down there, and then we've got like 3 sections of blue up here and some red markings, which I think all of this is painted on really well. I think it really works. They definitely got it right. Then here I think they're probably supposed to have the, you know, the elbow pads are probably supposed to have that on there, that little bit of blue. And then we've got the white down here, which kind of looks like that a little bit, where you've got that line going down, except they've got a line of blue going down on the forearm sections there. Just a blue piece of armor on the hand itself, and then blue shoulder pads, which look really cool. And then we've got blue markings up here, even in these little sections on the sides of the helmet. And yeah, it's all painted real well, even the silver, tiny little silver details on the helmet. So yeah, good amount of paint detail, which is what we've come to expect from the Black Series anyway. And the sculpt, which now we'll get to, this is my favorite Clone Trooper mold. I'm pretty sure it's the same as Commander Bly, who I have right here. And I just love the proportions and the range of movement that this body has. I'm pretty sure it's the exact same one that we're seeing on this figure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty much exactly the same, or it has the same levels of articulation you can get from this guy, which I'm really, really happy about. So it's not the normal animated clone body, and it's also not the old live action clone body. So I think it is the same as the Rex and Bly, but I think it actually is a little different. There's very minor differences I've noticed. But yeah, overall, I think this figure looks really good. I think the look of it looks great with the paint and the body proportions and sculpt and everything. It's got all the little sculpted details you need for a clone trooper, and I'm really liking it. So let's move on to the accessories. So for the accessories, first off, we have this clone blaster pistol, which I always forget the names of these blasters because they all start with DC and I can never remember what their numbers are. But there's the regular clone blaster pistol that we see the jet troopers with in Battlefront 2. So, yep, pretty cool. Always sculpted real nice, but no paint at all. But really doesn't need it. It would be cool if they had it, maybe put a little wash over it to make it look more realistic. But really, it does look cool the way it is. If I can get that a little closer to the camera so you can see it. It's a cool little pistol. But then there's also the jetpack, which is the main accessory. And at first I thought it was reuse of the Boba Fett Return of the Jedi jetpack, but then I compared it to it, and it is most definitely not the same backpack. It looks like it has maybe like the same minimal base to it, but it's very different when you actually look at the different details. And the main thing that made me curious if this was reused was because of these, which if you look on the back of the trooper, there's no place for those to go. There's a place for this to go right there, which we'll do right there. But there's no place for these pegs to go, the ones that peg into Boba Fett's back where he has these 3 pegs on it. This trooper only has 1 peg for the jetpack to go into, so it's odd that they still kept all 3 pegs on it. I don't know why they didn't just remove these, but they didn't. But it still pegs on nicely. It's a little tough to put it on, but not like too difficult. It fits on real nice and won't fall off or anything like that, and looks real cool on the back of the trooper. It's just these weird little like teeth peg things that just kind of look a little odd if you're looking at it from the side. But overall, if you just have it on his back and you're looking at it from the back or from the front, it's gonna look good. It just might look a little odd if you are showing it from the very side of it. But yeah, I think that jetpack's cool. I think this is cool, and yeah. Let's move on to the next segment. So I've decided instead of doing articulation segments, this is just kind of experiment at this point, but I think I'm going to do a posing segment instead because I personally just kind of get tired of doing the same, oh, this joint does this joint does this, you know. So I decided I would start doing something different, something a little more unique to me where I just pose the figure instead, and any pros and cons with the articulation I can mention after that. So let's start by trying to get this guy into a cool pose, maybe like a blaster firing pose, so maybe he's pointing his hand out like this, pointing the blaster. So you've got the hinge on the wrist, the up and down hinge on the wrist, so you can do that. It's great for a trigger finger hand, and you can fit the blaster into his hand pretty nicely. Let's do that. And then you can have the jetpack on his back because why wouldn't we? And then over here we can kind of have him. So you got the double joint here, which will get you a good range. So you can have him bending his arm like that. Just kind of experimenting with how I'm going to pose this guy. And then you've got the rockers on the ankles. So you can get him to stand up when you have his legs spread out like that. So there's your pose. So yeah, the articulation is good. It's got a good range of motion. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's very similar to the Rex and Bly Clone Trooper body mold. So yeah, you can get a lot of good poses like this one that I've come up with here, which is very simple. It's just him pointing the blaster, but I like it a lot. And it's got the articulation to where you can get that. And if you're wanting me to run through every little bit of articulation, I guess I just kind of get bored of doing that, and I get bored when I watch other reviewers doing that in their reviews. So I imagine it would be more entertaining to watch someone pose the figure and then talk about how the articulation works, because that's really what you want to see. You want to see how the figure can pose, and you don't really get that from just learning how every single little bit of the figure moves. So I thought instead I would pose it up and kind of showcase how the figure can actually move. So I really, really like that pose. And comment down below if you don't like this type of articulation review, then I would understand that and might go back to the old style of just reviewing every point of articulation individually. But I think I would prefer to do this going forward. But let me know down in the comments what you think of it. So yeah, that's going to be that for the articulation. Let me show you guys a close-up look at the Jet Trooper. Alright, so let's do some quick side-by-side comparisons with some other clone troopers in the Black Series line that I happen to have in my collection. Starting with another clone from Clone Wars Season 7, we have the Ahsoka's 332nd clone trooper. So you can see how he look next to a 501st. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Hasbro gives us a new 501st trooper, preferably on this body mold because I prefer it to this one. But yeah, a new 501st trooper would be really nice. I'm still trying to get an archive one. Haven't gotten that yet, but this is the closest thing I have to a 501st trooper in my Black Series collection. So you can see how they look next to each other. I think that looks pretty cool, but this clone trooper body is a bit different from this. I think they're, once again, might be some similarities, but I prefer this one and the articulation on it, and it's just a more fun clone trooper body, personally, I think. But then there's also, I want to compare it to Commander Bly, which we did do earlier, but I wanted to compare it again, and I think these guys are very similar, but I don't actually think they're the same. Like, if you look at the chest plate, it looks a lot sharper on this one, and it's a little bit less sharp on the edges on this one, I think. But I might be completely wrong. It's hard to tell. If I looked at it real close, I might be able to tell exactly. But I don't think they're exactly the same, but I think they have a lot of similarities because they do look very similar and they do have very similar articulation. And I'm very happy that they used this body mold for this because I've been hoping that the Black Series would go back to using that Commander Bly mold instead of using this one because I think this one's far superior. But yeah, so you can see how he looks next to some other clones, and I'll bring in one more. So I'll move out the Ahsoka Trooper and replace him with the Phase 1 Clone Trooper Lieutenant. Okay, so there's the Phase 1 Clone Trooper Lieutenant, and looks pretty cool. I don't really think you'd need to have him pose next to a Phase 1 Clone Trooper for like a scene or a photo or something, but there you have him next to the Phase 1 Clone Trooper Lieutenant, which was a recent pickup of mine from Walgreens, and it's a really cool figure too. But the articulation is definitely lacking compared to these two guys, but it's still a really cool figure and looks cool next to the Jet Trooper with the blue markings and everything, and they're going to be next to each other on my shelf display anyway, just because that's the way I have it set up. So yeah, I'll get these two guys out of the way and I'll give you my finishing thoughts on the Jet Trooper. Alright, so I'm really happy with this Jet Trooper. I'm glad I was able to pick one up at GameStop. I'd recommend going to your GameStop, seeing if you can find one, or ordering them from GameStop.com because they are in stock. This is definitely a trooper you'll want to have in your collection. I'm glad GameStop does a good job at stocking their exclusives, unlike some other retailers, Walmart. But this is a really cool figure that I think everyone should try to pick up if you're a fan of the Clone Wars or a fan of Battlefront 2 or just want to have more cool clone troopers in your collection, which is where I'm at. I'm a fan of Clone Wars and Battlefront 2, and I want to have more cool clone troopers in my collection. I'm always happy to add a new clone trooper to the collection, and this guy was definitely a fine addition to my collection, if you will. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please leave a like. I would really appreciate that. If you like videos like this, being action figure unboxings and reviews, I do Star Wars The Black Series and Marvel Legends figure reviews mainly on my channel, but I'm not afraid to branch out to plenty of other lines as well. So if that's the type of content you are interested in, please consider subscribing in order to join the Knights of Mischief. So yeah, as always, I hope you guys found this review helpful. Hope you found it enjoyable, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.